Now, our next guest has starred in everything from gritty gangland drama kin to a retelling of Ireland's harrowing history in small things like these.
Yes, and now she's back on the big screen in her new heartfelt film, 500 Miles. But before we chat to Clare Dunne, let's take a look at the film.
We used to bring him down here. Do you remember? John! Jesus, you'll give me a bloody heart attack.
Well, you'll give me one standing there.
Grandad.
I told you to stop calling.
With my mum's until we sort something out.
This is your decision, not mine. Go on, Charlie.
What's going on, Finn? Where are we even going?
We just need to get to Grandad's. He'll know what to do.
About what?
Keeping us together.
Please, like refreshments.
Somebody needs to tell you to give up.
I can't let you on without a responsible adult.
You're looking at
No,
one.
you've enough cheek for a new arse. You know that? Come on, get on.
Have your family over in Ireland?
In Dingle, my granddad. Everything's been since they cut him off.
You can't keep blaming yourself, John.
Looks wonderful.
Great
Clare
line as well.
Yeah, enough cheek for a new arse. You'll be using that one.
For a new arse, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We just saw a very short clip from the new film, 500 Miles. Can you tell us a bit about the film?
It's about two brothers who run away from their mum and dad. I'm playing the mum and Michael Soccer plays the dad. And basically we live in Sheffield and they run away all the way down to Dingle in Ireland doing the rail and sail to get to their granddad, who's played by Bill Nighy. And something's clearly happened in the family previously that you are trying to figure out through the movie. And the kids think, like, if we run away, we can get everybody back together to reunite. And along the way, they meet Maisie Williams, who's like a girl on the road, who sort of is a good, good Irish person who gives them a bit of a helping hand to get there.
Okay. All right. It's a feel-good movie.
Yeah.
You can't tell us what the problem is because we have to go and see the movie to find out. But you are playing the daughter of the granddad that the kids are trying to get to. Mm-hmm. That granddad is played by Bill Nighy. So you're working directly with Bill. So he whenever I've heard him interviewed, he comes across as a really nice guy. Is that how he is?
Yeah, of course he is, yeah.
There's no airs and graces with him?
No, he's just very... we had a lot in common, me and Bill, because we were chatting away at the various points on tea breaks and stuff and in between shots. And we both actually started our careers in theatre, so we had a lot in common. So we were chatting a lot about working in London in the theatre scene and doing touring and stuff like that. And then how we both then went into screen work. So it was really weird. We had a lot in common. And I remember just feeling like, wow, immediately from day one, he wanted to engage with me, chat on the breaks between rehearsals and really connect with me because I suddenly had to play his daughter and we had to do a lot of intense scenes. So it's like, and actors are generally like that, but Bill is particularly charming.
Okay, I'm told that Bill Nighy loves to dance.
Right.
Loves
like
dancing, like myself. On his own, loves to dance. So he didn't try to get you to get up and have a little bop.
We actually had to have a little hoolie on day two. We were dancing in the pub in one of the scenes.
But that was a scripted one.
I think he loves dancing. He also loves good food and he loves eating out. And I think I would say the restaurants of South Dublin had their fill of Bill. I'd say they loved having him walk in because he loves having his dinner every night in a nice restaurant after filming. And so I know he likes that as well. And he loves reading as well. Mm-hmm. I had to point him to a few good bookshops because he was so voraciously reading every weekend. Okay. And he loved walking along the coast on the south side as well. He just really enjoyed, Ireland while he was here.
So there's a little bit of Irish in him, I think.
Yeah, he has an Irish passport, yeah.
Now, is that just to avoid the long queue when he flies into somewhere along the Med?
I don't know.
You're going to get in trouble now. She's not going to get in trouble. Your pointers on bookshops while he was here. Now, obviously, Maisie Williams and Bill, English actors, sometimes when we see actors that aren't Irish try and portray the Irish accent, it can go one way, or as we've seen in the past, it can go very much another way.
Are you talking Dick Van Dyke, Tom Cruise?
I'm not naming any names. I'm Brad Pitt. There's been some clinkers in the last few years. But was there much help there? Did you give them much guidance or advice for the Irish accent?
I mean, I honestly didn't need to because, I thought they were so brilliant and so prepared and. If anything, Bill and me were chatting about how people tell stories. And he was very clever because he modelled his accent on somebody he actually met in Ireland. He didn't go just to an accent coach. He really met you know, people and chatted to them. I think Maisie did a similar thing. And actually, they were so prepared. They seemed so offhand when they were doing it that I was like, wow. They sounded like it was just nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that when you get to that finesse, that means, you know, the actors really done the preparation. So really, we just had a laugh about how people tell stories, especially taxi men and things like that.
Oh.
He was chatting to me about that.
Oh, God.
It's all there and should be fun.
Yeah,
Let's sort it all out.
Yeah.
I don't think they needed any help, really. But no, if they wanted it, they'd ask, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Which is all right. There's a lot of productions going on in Ireland at the moment.
Yeah.
And obviously bringing in Irish talent and telling Irish stories. It's a good time.
It's a really good time. Thank God for the tax break and all that. No, but it is really a flourishing time. I think Ireland's landscape is it's just so varied and rich, and we can just do so much, like between the great architecture and the more, like in the city areas, but then just our land and all the different islands and just all the different things you can do. And then we're also starting to build great studios here. So I just think, more and more and more. Bring it on. We need enough crew to keep up with it. I think you'll always have enough actors.
Yeah.
It's our great crews. We need more crew people. So yeah, anyone who wants to work in the background of film, they should look into that.
Well, on Great Actors as well, in 2004, we saw you working with Cillian Murphy and Small Things Like This.
Oh, yeah.
An incredible film, but one that was just so globally renowned. I mean, what's it like telling an Irish story like that for the world to enjoy?
I think that one was so particular. Like I had a very like kind of small role really, but a nice key role. And actually there was so many people involved in that film, in the ensemble, that were big actors but willing to take a small role on. And I think it was because the story was taking us somewhat a step further on in our culture with the story of the Magdalen homes, because it was celebrating something really inherent in Irish people that was more from their human instinct. It was something about a huge gesture of kindness that kind of rose above everything about like religion and laws and rules and what have you. And I really felt like it was a special one, and I'm so glad Cillian held us all together in that, and because he not only like led us as an actor, like he produced it, he made that story happen, and I think fair play to him for doing that.
Yeah,
me and Cillian are actually really close friends.
Yeah, really.
I said hello to him at the IFTAs once.
And well, he always talks about that.
He does, yeah. He brings it up.
Absolutely.
Never stops. The other thing that we have to talk to you about is Kin, because you know we loved it. 2 series in, and then it stopped.
Yeah.
But we're told it's coming back.
It's very good news of us, yeah.
So what can you tell us, or is there anything?
I can't tell you anything because I haven't even gotten the email with the official
start
scripts
date
or anything. But I'm very excited at the prospect of it. I mean, it seems like it's green lit, but I'm never allowed to say 100% until they say 100%. But there's good noises. Yeah. Okay, I know nothing about storyline yet. So.
Okay, we're not getting any exclusive this morning.
No, we had hope. But you mentioned Bill Nighy and Maisie Williams' Irish accent. Charlie Cox's Irish accent was
brilliant.
Perfect.
Yeah, he worked really hard at it, and he actually keeps the Irish accent as much as he can for the day. He just kind of keeps it going and keeps the muscles alive. But he did a lot of great work with the famous Emmett Kirwan, who a lot of people would know for his amazing spoken word and how he speaks and stuff. And I remember Emmett helping him out, and I was like, that's a really good guy to help you out. But Charlie's just a very dedicated guy when it comes to accents as well.
Yeah. Is he still in touch with you?
Oh, yeah. No, I chat to Charlie a lot, yeah.
Oh, God.
Him and his wife, Sam. They're so nice. Like, we just got to know each other over the couple of years when we were filming, and I think we all became very tight together at the time, because the first one was during, you know, the dreaded lockdown and all that kind of thing. So we were very bonded.
But before TV and film, your first love is obviously theatre.
Yeah.
Where you studied in Cardiff.
Yeah.
But there was a story about you, I suppose, creating your own look over there. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, yeah. Well, do you mean my first job? Again, my first job. That was so funny. It was because I was obviously living in Wales going like, how do I get a job from here? And we knew we'd have a showcase in London and one in Wales, but there was no showcase in Dublin. So I said to the head of drama, I was like, listen, I'm going to need a few Irish agents or Irish casting directors to get over here. Any chance of like getting one over? And he was like, I'll tell you what, if you can get Maureen Hughes, the casting director, to come over here, I'll pay for her flights and I'll put her up in the Hilton. And I was like, grand. So I like Googled her email address and I emailed her with a very official looking invite to the musical that I was going to star in. And she wrote back a few hours later saying, yeah, I'll come. And she came a few months later to the musical.
Okay.
But before she even saw the show, she had a cup of coffee with me. And just there in front of me went, you'd make a good Peggy and Mike. And Peggy and Mike is the main character of Playboy the Western World. And she rang Druid Theatre Company right in front of me, like rang Gary Hines and was like, I think I've got a great Peggy and Mike for you, you know. And that literally was so life-changing for me because all I ever wanted when I was in drama school was to work for Druid Theatre Company and go to Galway and just like work with them. And that led to an audition and then I got the role. And that was like the beginning of my career. And it was thanks to Maureen Hughes, who's just like, she's just the most phenomenal woman for spotting new talent and young talent. And she's a wise woman.
If you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
I know.
That's the way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what a bold move and well done you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Look, I remember one of the first chats I had with you was around the time of Herself.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, so that was a special project. And we remember it fondly. And that was before Kin came along.
Yeah. Actually, Herself was the reason I even just got an audition for Kin. So, but Herself, like, I remember the year we filmed that, it was like, there was this moment, I think it was March 2019, and I was doing my own show that I made with my cousin where we were like singing and making people laugh and doing all this kind of fun stuff in the Project Arts Theatre. But also there was a production office set up in Dublin and we were about to go and film Herself. And I remember thinking like, I think this is the best it can ever get. It's and just like the way everyone just surrounded us in the Dublin community, helping us out with locations and being so kind and helpful. There was a family on the north side of Dublin that literally provided us with a pub, a house for the story, and then a back garden to build. So
that was their back garden. You start digging in.
Yeah. Like really, like it was. I can't. They own Brady's pub in Clontarf, and I think they must be the Brady's. But like honestly, we were so welcomed and looked after here, and I remember thinking, this is the best. Like, but also the film was also really welcomed by audiences, and I'm really grateful for it.
Well, storyline will hit home with so many different people.
Yeah. It's got a lot in common with 500 Miles because Malcolm helped me write Herself, and he wrote 500 Miles. So.
And adding director to your string of bow as well. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Well, I didn't direct Herself now. I didn't direct Herself, but I wrote it. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's been wonderful catching up with you, Claire, and
Thanks,
congratulations on all the very, very well-deserved success.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Martin.